welcome back to another video, Simon Side of Football. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So this Morgan Gibbs White situation is going on and on and on. So let's break it down for you. So Thursday afternoon, there was rumours and reports that Spurs were interested in Morgan Gibbs White. Within a few hours they had triggered a release clause. Romano had had give the here we go, so it looked like all the deal was getting done. You know, no issues. Spurs fans all happy. Couple of deals in 2 days looked like we're going through, and was going to have his medical on Friday. And then Forest, his owner, had come out and made a complaint on Friday, and had the transfer all put on hold. So about a secret release clause and how Spurs had found out that Spurs had illegally gone for the player. Nothing really happened too much over the weekend. Things don't really happen too much on transfers at the weekend. I noticed not too much really happened, so I did expect nothing would happen over the weekend. And then Monday, Gibbs White did turn up for training, and Forest had said that Spurs still, allegedly legally tapped up the player, and they've done a statement to tell Spurs not to contact the player. The Spurs have come back and said, we don't think we've done anything wrong. So it was sort of going back and forwards between the two clubs, and then also Forest again come out and said that they are going to file a report on Spurs and the Gibbs White's agent if it goes any further. If we don't stop now, that's what's going to happen, blah blah. And then Spurs last night said they were going to file a complaint against Nottingham Forest. So it's just everything. It's just a complete mess. Now, I don't think Forest's complaint will really get anywhere to the Premier League, because Spurs have met a release clause. It's just going to open a can of worms, I believe, because any club now, if players have got a release clause on them and they're not happy with the price of what the release clause is, like say they've had a release clause on a player for a couple of years and they've got better than what they probably was expecting, and the player's worth more than what the release clause is, and they're not happy with the deal. Because this is what I think Forest's owner is. I think they've realised that Gibbs White is to them is valued more than 60 million. So now this will have other clubs thinking, well, if Forest has stopped a transfer because they're not quite happy with the release clause, then we're going to do the same, and then it will inevitably mean that release clauses mean nothing at the end of the day. If you can get it stopped, then it means nothing anymore. So I don't think the Premier League will stop the transfer. Now, it's two sort of parts of this, because as a legal matter, then there's the release clause. Spurs have hit the release clause. They can really much sign the player. What should happen? They should sign the player, and then Forest do the illegal bits against the agent or whatever. Because when a player is signed by a club, the club does not go to the club first and say, I want your player, blah blah blah. First, the club will go to the player's agent and say, look, we're interested in your player. Is your player interested? What sort of wages would your player want? Blah blah. And then if they get past that, then they think, right, then we'll go to the club and talk to the club and try and get a deal done. So what's probably happened? Spurs have, and the agent, we don't know if the agent's contacted Spurs first or the Spurs have contacted the agent, but they found that the player's interested, and then they found out some way or another that this is a release clause. That's why I believe the deal happened quite quickly. Spurs have acted quite quickly. As an opportunist, Spurs have gone and released and triggered the release clause. Now, there was no talk about Gibbs White going to Tottenham this transfer window really so far. They have in the past been interested in the player, so you'd sort of think maybe they've been told about this release clause. Oh, my cat, sorry. Cat's gone past. Sorry about that. So Spurs, where was I? Spurs, yeah, so Spurs have found out about this release clause, and it's all happened pretty quickly. So something along them lines, I believe, has happened. Now, the legal matter, you'd probably more think it would be with the agent and not with Spurs. I can't see what Spurs have really done wrong. They've met the release clause. They want the player. They found out one way or another. So I believe, for me, I don't know. I'm just the same as you guys. I'm just clutching at straws, thinking my theories, what I think, and just putting, just telling you guys. So I think the legal matter's more with the agent than it is with Spurs. So I don't see why this deal would not go through. I don't think the Premier League will see as Spurs have done anything wrong. I think the release clause has been met. I can't see why the player won't be going to Spurs, because like I said before, I think it would just open another can of worms. The player wants to go. Why would Forest want to keep a player who doesn't want to be there? If anything, it's damaging them more than it is with Spurs, because they've got a player who's unhappy, who's at Forest. If they keep him and he doesn't really want to be there, he's not going to sign a new contract. They've been trying for the last year to sign a contract. They know about this release clause because they're trying to get it out of the contract. So why would Forest want to keep an unhappy player? And then the transfer is more likely going to go through, and then they're going to have to try get a replacement, and they'll have 60 million. So what makes sense is to just get the deal done, both go their separate ways. Gibbs White goes to Tottenham, Forest gets 60 million. They get 60 million to go and spend on, so bolster their squad up. Like, they've got 55 million they got last week from Elanga, so they'll have 115 million to go and make some good signings and players who want to go and play at Nottingham Forest. So I don't see. It's just, I think the owners just more trying to show that they're fighting to keep Gibbs White. They've made a mistake. They've put his release clause at 60 million, where Nottingham Forest also get 10%. So they're only going to make around £12 million, I think, 12 to 14 million from. I think they got him from Wolves for around 45 million. So they're going to only just make a profit of just over 10 million, really. So I think that's where they're upset about this transfer as well. So that's the Gibbs White situation. We don't know if today will be the day, next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If anything will happen, will Tottenham get the player? We'll have to wait and see. But let me know in the comments what you think. If you think Spurs will get the player, or do you think Spurs should move on, or Spurs have every right to carry on and pursue this player, and if they've done anything wrong. Other transfer news. There has been reports that someone Palmeiras is interested in Richarlison and is willing to pay the similar fee what we bought him for, which would be good news. Do I see the player going? No, not really. I think he's settled at Tottenham as well. I think for getting in Richarlison out the squad, if you want to sell him, I think you need to buy a few more attacking players to show that he's not really going to get as many chances that he thinks he might get. I just think he's settled at Spurs, but who knows? You don't know. No one really knows if he'll go or not. Basuma is a strange one. I think there is a few clubs interested. I know Fenerbahce were. I think he did sort of turn them down. But the thing with the Basuma thing, he's got 1 year left. If he could sit out for a year, and he'll get a bigger and a better signing on fee next year. Have more clubs who will be interested, and he can pick and choose a bit more. I know Juventus are interested. That might sway him to go this season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't leave. But we'll have to wait and see on that. But we do need to get players out the door. Our squad's big, so we do need to get a few of these players out the door. So we'll see with that. Also, Spurs are interested in a Brighton unknown player. They've got a few players who I'll be interested in, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will. They've got a very good team. Baliba, great number 6. Matoma, good left winger, inside forward. So there's a few out there who will be good to come to Spurs. We'll have to see if anything materialises and what player it is. I'm not sure it is. I've just seen reports that it's an unnamed Brighton player. So we'll have to see what happens in the next few days. But thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you all guys in the next one. See you later.